Good afternoon, my fellow aquarium scientists. Hope everybody is doing well. Just give a moment for people to trickle in if they so wish to before we begin. Just trying to set some stuff up here. I think that's all I wanted to show. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Let's get some hello highs out of the way. Stephen P is having lunch with his parents. That's wonderful. Hope you enjoy. Got Robert Reed lurking. Wonderful. Thank you very much for stopping by. Got Shady Grady. Welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by. Wi-Fi is being a little bit iffy, so please let me know if audio visual is being a little janky. It should be okay for now. Cool. So what are we going to talk about today? So a few things. One, we're going to talk about some issues going on with one of the plant holding systems, and then we're going to kind of go over some some new things relating to the business, um, to Atlantic Aquariums, things that are new additions, things that are going bye bye, as well as kind of go over some plants that people have requested that is on the list of plants that I am planning on ordering in. And this will be a great opportunity for you guys to ask any questions about anything related to that you might want me to put onto the list, if that makes sense. So to start off with this tank here, so when I came home from Sunday school, I was doing my regular like health assessment of the plants and things like that, and noticed that a lot of the plants have started growing like a stringy algae, like a stringy green algae. I can't really tell if it's actually green or not, but I have seen splashes of it on a lot of the plants, even plants where there's no like no damaged leaves or dying leaves or anything. Like healthy plants are also getting covered in it. And what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna be breaking down this tank, getting all the plants out, getting the racks out, everything. I'm gonna clean it out, clean the filters, everything like that. I'm gonna move the fish out for temporary. Um, and then I need your guys' help on trying to figure out what I need to do, what I should do in terms of treating the plants for the algae that they're covered in. Because as of right now, I don't want to sell these plants um, if they've got clear signs of algae on them, but I want to treat them. What I was thinking of doing was doing a hydrogen peroxide treatment, because in the saltwater world for corals, coral frags, what I have done is sometimes we'll get some algae on a coral frag and we will treat it in a hydrogen peroxide solution, and that usually gets rid of the algae. Um, and I was curious to know if it would work with these guys. Um, there are other ways that I have tried battling with it using a like a toothbrush and things like that, but it's becoming very stressful, and yeah. But that's why I wanted your guys' insight. I wanted a second opinion if it's worth a try, or if it would work, or if there's anything else that might um work on it, to kind of combat that and get that algae gone from these plants. So Let's see. We've got hello, Silver Creek Wildlife. Thank you very much for stopping by. So Silver Creek is saying too much light saturation. Um, I don't think so. It's just one nitro light, and I don't think they're getting enough. Well, most of the plants are getting enough light, but I don't think lighting is the issue. It could be. It definitely could be. Um, the thing is compared to the CO2 nutrients that are being dosed, highlighting everything like that, the plants should be doing very well, and there should be less algae growing because the plants are supposed to be over competing with the algae. So I think one of the reasons why there is an algae bloom is because I was having issues with the Alternantha Wernickii pink. A lot of the plant has melted back and died off, which I'm assuming has released a lot of organics in the water, and that just allowed the algae to kind of bloom. And that's what I think is the issue. Um, regardless of whatever the issue is, my main focus right now is getting the algae that is taking over some of these plants under control and figuring out a way to combat that, whether it's doing a hydrogen peroxide treatment or whatever other treatment there might be. So that's what I um, am hoping for. Like the epiphytes are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that system. It's just this system right here. Um, hey there, Zen Ginger. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hair algae overtaking the plants no matter what you do. Sound familiar? Yeah. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of doing is doing a peroxide treatment. Um, I don't know if I should do a diluted solution and dip the plants in it, or just use because it comes with a spray bottle to just spray it and let it work its magic for a little bit, and then dip it in like clean water to kind of rinse it off and see if that'll do the trick. Um, but it's not even like spots. It's like string algae just taking over a lot of the plant. So it's basically I have to treat the entire plant. Um, if I just had like maybe one or two plants in here and they were covered in that, I would toss them out. But the problem is I have a bunch of plants in here, and me tossing them out is me losing a lot of money. And I want to try and avoid it. I want to try and treat it first. If that does not work, I will have to toss most of the plants that are in this tank out. Because I'm not shipping you guys plants that are covered in algae. No way. It's a shame that it has happened, and I'm really punching myself for letting it get to this point. Um, and I'm hoping that it will never happen again. But for now, I want to see if I can manage it. If I can't manage it, it's trash. Um, but yeah. So Zen says, if there's no fish in the tank, why wouldn't you use a pipette and treat them in tank? Um, it's easier to remove than to treat or more effective. So there are fish in the tank. I have what do I have in here? Rice fish. I have rice fish in here. I'm basically breaking, like I mentioned earlier. I don't know if you were here, Zen, for that, but my plan is to break down the tank, and just clean it all, get the filters out. The sponge filter is like covered in algae as well. So I'm gonna take the sponge filters out, clean that down, drain the tank, clean the tank out, the racks as well. Um, I'm there. I have noticed there are some leaves like on the Alternantha or Rosenberg. It's like the old immersed leaves that have kind of died back and melted. I'm gonna try and see if I can get rid of that. Um, and just go through all the plants and do a treatment on the plants and then just set up the tank back up. um, back up that way, and just really keep on top of this thing. And I'm definitely not ordering alternate the Reneki Pink anytime soon because yeah, no, it hasn't done well for me. Um, hey there, Eric. Thank you very much for stopping by. So yeah, that's my plans with this setup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go on the website and basically take down all the plants that are currently in stock until I can that what I mean by the plants that are in this tank, I'm gonna take down from the website so nobody can buy them until I can get that algae under control. Like I said, the epiphytes are fine, so the epiphytes will stay on the website. Um, but yeah, I'm very upset. I'm very upset with this right now. It's yeah. Um, So I think that's what I'll do. I'll do a peroxide treatment. I'll get the peroxide solution in a spray bottle and just kind of give a light misting on the plants. Let them sit for a little bit, and then rinse them in clean, fresh water, and hopefully that will help. If it doesn't, then the plants are trash, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's with that. Um, Zen says, I swear when plant variations say pink, it translates to good luck with keeping that alive. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there are people who have been able to keep it. It could just have been, lack of nutrients or whatever the case might be. I know me and Myrtle had a conversation regarding it in the previous stream. And I did dose a little bit more with the fertilization. But like the alternative pink was just way, long gone by that point, so there was no saving it. And I think that die off of the alternate, or the melt, not the die off, but the melting, has just released way more organics in the water, and it's just allowed the algae to just poof. Um, so yeah, definitely a plant that I am not going to order anytime soon. Maybe in the near future when I have a better system to maintain the plants, I might try again, but not anytime soon. Um, yeah. Zen says the only thing more finicky and less stable is anything that says white. Well, the thing with the anything that's white is lack of chlorophyll. So it doesn't matter how much light you give it; it's not going to really do much. It's relying more on nutrients now. So you just gotta make sure it's getting enough nutrients. But but yeah, definitely variegated plants or pearl white, like the Nubius white pearl. Um, not those are some of the plants that are not beginner friendly. So yeah, okay. So that's the plan for that. I will keep you guys updated on that. It's sad because this isn't the first time I'm going to be breaking this tank down and setting it back up. This is actually the second time I'm doing it. Um, but I just don't like what's going on with it. The epiphytes are way more cleaner. The tank is way better than whatever's going on in here. So um, so yeah, I'm just really frustrated. So I'm just gonna basically, once I'm done this live stream, I'm just gonna spend my entire Sunday just figuring out what's going on with this, either today or tomorrow, because I'm off tomorrow. Um, if I'm not able to get, because I don't have hydrogen peroxide on hand, I have to go to the store and get it. Um, so it's either going to be today or tomorrow. But what I can do in the meantime is, if I don't end up breaking it down today, I'll just at least take some of the plants out that I'm seeing some dead leaves on, and just cleaning those out um, as a start, and go from there. Uh, yeah, or it just reverts and then your white isn't white anymore. Yeah, but I've rarely seen that though, where at least in my experience, where like the variegation goes away, because it's those plants have been selectively grown to have that. So you have a point, Zen, that sometimes it can, and it does happen, even with not plants but fish. They have a specific gene that changes their coloration or whatever, but as you continue to breed them, you'll still get some from its original, like the first generation, if that makes sense. um Hello there, Nathan. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Mm, yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so that'll be the game plan for that. Cool. All right. Next up, what did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about Atlantic Aquariums. Let's focus on Atlantic Aquariums now. So I even got the shirt on. Okay. So a few things with with Atlantic Aquariums. So there's a few changes. First things first, you may have noticed on the little banner, there is a sale on most of the foods on Atlantic Aquariums. There's no discount code or not, it's just the price is discounted. So you guys are welcome to browse, and if you need some food, you're welcome to get it. But as things start, in terms of the food side, as things um, start to sell out, I'm not going to be ordering any more food products in, unless I know for a fact there is a demand and people want to buy it from me, because um, I have not done very good with food sales. It is a bit heartbreaking, because I've tried my best to curate foods that I stand by and has done well in my own systems, and I was just too naive, and it just people didn't really have much of an interest in it. Or what has happened is, when I'm at the Keystone class, some people will buy one or two types of foods, or whatever the case might be. But in terms of online sales, it hasn't been doing very well. So at this point, I'm just trying to, whatever stock I have, inventory I have of foods that is still has not expired yet, basically. Um, I've just discounted it, just to get it out, and be used, instead of just ending up in the trash. Because I've already, when I was doing my inventory of everything, basically, in terms of dry goods, I have to go through all the foods to weed out any foods that are expired or past its best by use date. And I basically filled up two, like, what was it? Two like USPS medium flat rate boxes. So, like, picture those boxes. I had to fill like two of those boxes up with food that's trash. Um, some of the foods, I have been told by the manufacturer that even though it has passed its best by use date, it is still usable. However, for foods like Rapashi, I have been told that it's not toxic to the animals, but it loses its nutritional value. Like the vitamins that are in there, the supplements and things like that, it loses its nutritional value. And so basically, that guaranteed nutrient analysis is no longer guaranteed. And I'm not selling you guys that products where the nutritional value is not guaranteed. So a bunch of Rapacia has had to be thrown out. A lot of the Sarah has had to be thrown out. The Barrier Reef Labs coral food, the LPS has done well. Well, not well, but better than the SPS. So I have like, I don't know, 10 jars of the SPS coral food that is past its expiration date. But what's interesting about that food is I was told by the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, the person that I get it from, that according to the manufacturer, that the expiration date, they have to have it on there, but as long as it's kept in a cool, dry environment, the food is still good after that. Um, which is true. I have used it after its expiration date, and like the corals still love it and grow from it. Um, but some of the stock that I have, it has been prolonged for what's the word I'm looking for? It's been a while since it's expired where I am no longer comfortable selling it out. And so I've I'm going to be taking it down from the website. And um but yeah. So there's a sale going on with the foods. Some of the products are discounted. I might bring the prices even lower at this point. Um but once the food starts selling out, I'm not going to be ordering any more in unless I know for a fact that there is a demand for a certain food, and basically you'll have to reach out to me, um, and only then will I get it in. What's going on in chat? All good, Nathan. I really do appreciate you stopping by. Means a lot. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And that's one of the things I want. That's one of the things that at some point, I think, was it this past live stream, I talked like how I talked about the topic was like hardscape and things like that. That wasn't the original topic of the live stream. It was actually I was going to be a live stream where I was going to talk about my experiences in the industry, and you know, things that being in the industry, being in the aquarium business for as long as I have now, looking back at when I started Atlantic Aquariums, what I would do differently, things like that. And one of the things that I was going to mention was that if I was to travel back in time and meet myself back then when I was preparing to start Atlantic Aquariums, I would tell myself don't. I was very naive. I was very confident of myself, and I screwed myself over because I was a college student who had just started paying off loans. Starting an aquarium business was a very bad idea. Uh, and and I was just too naive, and I have learned my lesson. So I am now really starting to seriously think about what I want to sell, what I do not want to sell. Um, and the foods, unfortunately, is one of them where I'm just not going to carry any foods. Um, and there's a few reasons for that. One being obviously the fact that I haven't sold much, and another reason is and it is a blessing that I'm a part of this community that I have been a part of, is I get to see and hear about people's preferences in a lot of stuff, right? And from what I have noticed is the stuff that I have on my website, there's very few people in the community who like the stuff. So if any at all. So it took to that point for me to sit down while I was doing inventory to basically convince myself no more. Don't order anything that is hasn't just has not been selling. It's not worth it. Um, so that's what's going on with foods. Um, in terms of things that are going out, what else was there? There was something else. I'm looking at the stuff on this side to see if it pops into my head. Um, no, I guess it's just foods. Um, new things that are on the website. I can share. Let's do some show and tell. Let me take that away for a second. Oh, it's Jeff. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is well. Okay, stand by. Trying to share my screen here. I also have to change my intro, like my title sequence, because I I made a video where the countdown and my title sequence is together. Um, but I think the countdown is too short. It's like 20 seconds. And by the time that I was able to see it on YouTube, the countdown was already gone and even the title sequence was already gone and you just saw me pop up. So I'm gonna I'm gonna fix that title sequence and make the countdown a little longer. But anyway, so let's share the screen here. Hopefully everybody's Sunday is well. There's also I need to remember because I might forget is I wanted to do some polls as well, but I think I have to log into YouTube to do that. Also I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on like is so I've been live streaming on Sundays at 3 and mainly because that's a time frame that nobody really else was on and it works out for me, but I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts if this is a good time. I know I'm off Mondays as well and there is a big gap or there's a big open spot on the fish fam calendar, but it's during like during the day when most people obviously on a Monday are working. So I was just curious. That's not the poll question, but um, I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Okay, share screen. Where's share screen? There's share screen. Uh, okay, let's adjust some things. You guys don't need to see me. I'll take myself out. Jeff says all is okay. I'm slightly PO'd. I missed Richard Reynolds' first live stream. Wait, it was his first live stream? Dang it, I missed it too then. Was it today? I wasn't even aware he was going to be live streaming. I need to hop on Richard's live stream because he supported Atlantic Aquariums. He donated for the Fish Fam link thingy, the the online shopping thing. So I was really appreciative of Richard doing that. Oh, Skipper says it was a premiere. Okay. Hey Skipper, thank you very much for stopping by. Skipper, how's the liverwort doing for you so far? I know you just attached it to Hardscape. But is it doing okay for you? I'm curious to know. So Zen says this is an okay time for me, but I have to bill an hour in usually because I have another prior commitment on another channel, so I'm not opposed to you moving it either. Okay, noted. Hey Ian, thank you very much for stopping by. All good? Ooh, Chad is jumping here. Yes, Eric, he is. A lot of people in this community are, I have to say. Skipper says it is doing good. It didn't die yet. That's good enough for me. As long as it doesn't die. So Nathan says Richard is trying to learn as much as he can and didn't know what a premiere actually meant. I told him we would love to see more of them and for him to be in the chat with us. Oh, okay. It's always a learning curve. I know it was a learning curve for me. Thankfully, Scotty was my first guest, so he kind of helped me through it. Okay. Okay, so we are on the website, atlanticaquariums.com. I just wanted to show you guys some stuff that is coming to Atlantic Aquariums based off of just my understanding of what people were interested in or looking for that I am able to get in. Um, will it backfire again with me being naive with the food and people not want interested in it? Maybe. But that's part of the business, I guess. So yeah, so if we go to aquarium equipment and supplies, cool that. I need to figure out where the title went. Like it's supposed to say aquarium equipment and supplies on the banner over there, and I don't know where it went, so I need to figure out what's going on with that. Okay, so what's new in this world here? So there's a few new things. Um, the Milwaukee CD97 digital TDS pen is something new. Um, I've already mentioned the Aqua Duo digital inline TDS monitor, which I know Steven got and so far has installed. I don't expect for him to give a good review yet because he's just using it. So I do look forward to him using it for a bit and then hopefully letting us know how it's going. But right next to that is a few Brightwell stuff. So um, Brightwell Aquatics Remineralize. So this is from Brightwell Aquatics, obviously, but it's basically for those of you who use RO water or RODI water, and you're looking to remineralize it for whatever reason. Um, Usually you do it for shrimp, but this is also for other environments as well, depending on how your water is. So this is just a general remineralizing solution um, for your RODI water. And then right next to that, we have two products geared towards mostly, um, excuse me, for mostly shrimp. Um, Brightwell Aquatics Cardinia GH Plus, GH standing for General Hardness. Um, and then, uh, excuse me, hang on, I'm actually I can't talk. I'm great at pitching stuff, aren't I? A few differences because I know some of you might have differences, and I do apologize. I can't see the chat right now, but I will go back to StreamYard and check the chat right now. With Brightwell Aquatics Remineralize, it basically has all of your of your what's the word I'm looking for? The stuff that you would want in the water. Um, and it is written in the description there. And then you have Cardinia GH, which is for general hardness specifically. Excuse me. And then you have the Brightwell Aquatics Neo Tiger KH and GH. So there we go. So it has particular elements in the solution for your water. So if something is a little is missing or you need to add it in, this definitely helps with it. So, like it says, Brightwell Aquatic Shrimp Neo Tiger KH and GH establishes mineral balance in purified RODI and soft water for all shrimp and freshwater aquaria. So these are things that are new to the Atlantic Aquariums family. What else is there? New Life Spectrum is also new. So this is the only food that is new that I got in. Um, or I'm getting in. So New Life Spectrum Cichlid and then New Life Spectrum Algae Max pellets. They come in different sizes. Nothing new with lighting. Um, I think I mentioned that that we have the Aquatic Life Twist In unit. There's also the Aquatic Life Smart Buddy Booster Pump. Obviously got the Awaze stuff, which I did bring to the Keystone Clash, but nobody bought it. Got the Aquavitra Sencha dosing unit. So if you don't want to manually dose and you just want to hook it up and forget about it, the Sencha is a very good doser. And what's interesting about it, so Aquavitro is also owned by Seachem. Like Seachem and Aquavitro are together; they're one company. And so what's interesting with this dosing pump is it's app controlled. I know some people don't really like the whole app mumbo jumbo. But what's interesting is if you get a Seachem or a Aquavitro product, whether it's freshwater or saltwater, what you would do is, I don't know how well you can see that, but you would through the app for it, you would scan the barcode and it automatically determines how much you need to dose it, if that makes sense. That's like the most breakdown of that. Basically, it'll ask for like the size of the tank, system, all that stuff, and then you scan the barcode, and it will automatically let you know how much it will dose for how long, yada yada. If you want to adjust any of the criteria, you definitely can. And what's interesting is you get the primary unit. This is the primary unit, but you can attach other units to it, if that makes sense. So this is the primary unit. I don't know if you can see my cursor. And then you can buy additional units, secondary units, and hook them together. And it's a really cool pump. And then we go towards the Pleco ceramic stuff. So I don't know if you guys were aware, I have Pleco caves and decor and stuff like that. Grotto, Cichlid Stone Magma that has a little bit of texture on it, and then natural Pleco caves, nature caves, and chocolate caves. Chocolate basically referring to the color of it. Let me go back to chat, see what's going on in chat. Sorry, guys. Mm. Hey there, Red Laser. Thank you very much for stopping by. That's what I think, Zen, but it's like, I don't know how that happened though, because it was fine before, and then not too long ago I started noticing, and I keep telling myself I need to fix it, but I never do. And and um um and I never do. So, but that's what I think happened. It's If that is the case, it's going to be a pain in the butt to try and reverse it back. Um, but yeah. Yes, Jeff. Jeff, that's why I texted you on the fish cord asking if you were the one asking about it, because I looked at I can't talk. I'm sorry, guys. Um during the live stream when you were asking me if I'm able to get if I have TDS pens, the wholesaler that I was looking at, I assumed that I assumed had they didn't have, but I remembered that I have another wholesaler or another distributor, and so I went to that distributor after I was done with the live stream, and I just typed in TDS pen, and that popped up. so, so I was like, oh wait, I do have a pen, but I do know that I recommended you other pens as well that do very well, and so I wasn't sure if you've already looked into something else. Um, but yeah, I have that now. So if but keep in mind, I have yet to test it out myself. Um, I haven't really seen a lot of reviews on it as well, so it's basically I'm gonna try my best at some point to get it in and try it myself. Or if you want to be the first tester to test it out and let me know how it does, that would be appreciated. But yeah, I have that there. And then Jeff says, Professor, I remineralized my tap water also. Cool. So I have stuff that you can use to remineralize if you are interested in it. Mm, So Atkins says, is the doser continuous duty? Atkins, what do you mean by that? Like, does it continuously operate? Is that what you mean by that? It's doable, Zen. It's just sometimes when I try to fix things regarding like that's not the first time that's happened in another part of the website. It's just that it will tend to screw up things, if that makes sense. Like it'll like something will just disappear for some reason, or or things will go out of whack basically, and then I have to go back and put everything back. It's just a pain, but it's doable. Just a pain. So Red Laser says, I have a Milwaukee pH pen, an excellent product. It requires the bulb to be continually wet with storage solution. Yeah, definitely. A lot of probes as well. Um, you wanna make sure that they don't run dry. Um, it's not the end of the world if it runs dry. It's just you have to go through recalibration and soak it in a solution and all that stuff. Like I have a Hana Instruments pH checker, which I know for a fact, unfortunately, I did not keep the probe in the solution that they say you should put it in. So now when I open it up again to use it, I have to plop it back into I guess it's calibration solution just to hopefully get it back up and running and hopefully it hasn't broken. Um, I assume TDS is a similar quality product. Cool. Okay. So at least Red Laser, you have experience with Milwaukee products. Um, that's good to know, though. Thank you, my friend Matt. Welcome. Glad you're hopping on. Hope everything is good. Cool. Yeah, let me know, Jeff, if you're interested in. It's available on the website, and I will get it in for you. No issues. No problem with that. Uh, can I run it 24/7 without a specific program? Like, can I just turn it on and let it run? I turn it off via Wi-Fi strips. Why would you want it running 24/7? Oh, I see what you're saying. So like if you to turn it off, you would use like a Wi-Fi plug or strip. Why would you do that when it's already programmed? Like there's an app for it and you just program when it needs to turn on and turn off. Um in terms of whether it would run 24/7, I'm sure it would. It just will I just with any technological item, the longer you let it run for, the less lifespan it has. Um but like I can see why you would want to run it on a Wi-Fi strip, but then again, why? Because because even when you can just run it through the app. Um, um, but yeah, so I mean, I'm sure you can run it 24/7. Just to answer your question, Ian. Um, but from my understanding, um, I believe it would degrade its lifespan. Um, so Zen says, isn't calibration solution just RODI water for a TDS pen? Yes. Doesn't have to be. Um, Actually, it does have to be. It can be. I mean, I don't really think if is there. Hang on. Now you've got me curious. Then does do they sell a caliber? I think they do sell. They sell a calibration fluid, but it's a specific thing. Hold on. Stand by. Atkin says, because I'm crazy and I like to party. Hey man, if you buy it and that's how you want to run it, that's on you. I'm just saying, don't come crying to me if it doesn't work afterwards. I have a continuous duty pump running Kalkwasser. It turns on and off based on pH. If pH is lower than the is low, then the doser is on. When pH high, it turns off. Okay, I see. Um, yeah, like I said, I don't see why not. Um, why wouldn't? Now, my question to you, Ian, is are you using when you say like you're using a continuous pump to pump the kalkwasser, are you is it basically a doser? Like is it like the what's the word what's the type of doser that I'm talking about? There's a name for it. But basically like how that Sencha is, or like the Neptune systems DOS, or the things like that. Like is it a pump like that? In which case I don't really see why you wouldn't be able to operate that. But yeah. Oh, okay. I know that one, Ian. I've seen those. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I don't see why not. But like I said, if you with stuff like that, if you continuously run it, it's just going to shorten its lifespan, really. Um, but yeah, because dosers are designed to dose a particular amount for a particular time of day. I mean, people also use dosers to do automatic water changes as well, but then again, it's scheduled. It's on a schedule. So, um, but yeah. Anyway, okay. So I was trying to look at the Milwaukee TDS meter. Okay, here's the pen. Actually, no, is that the correct model? Hang on. Um, Where'd he go? Okay, it's the CD97. Okay. Uh, Here it is. Okay. Now keep in mind the CD97 is for low range TDS. There's another one that's CD600. That's the total dissolved solids or TDS. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, my the distributor does not carry the CD 600. It just carries the CD 97. So that's another thing to just keep in mind of. But here it is. Okay. So they do have a calibration, or no, wait, that's not, that's something else. So yeah, they don't have a calibration for it. Do they? I thought they did. Or am I losing my mind? Am I finally losing my mind? Yeah, it's they don't offer a calibration for it. But yeah, for TDS, it's basically you're just using, you know, RODI water. But the thing is, again, because I think Zen was the one that was asking about it. You have to also understand, what if the RODI water that you are using isn't pure RODI water. So that's another thing, is like you have to make sure that the water you are using has zero TDS to make sure that you are calibrating it appropriately. So that's one of the reasons why, like, I personally would get the solution from the actual manufacturer, because it should be zero for the most part. Or you can go to like a science lab supply store, and they usually carry the stuff as well. And with those things, it's guaranteed to be accurate. Uh, Zen says everything will be an AI smart doser in the in the future. Hi there, Homer, the clown trigger. Thank you very much for stopping by. So Jeff says, what is the range? Good question. Let's check it out. So the range is from 0 to 1,000 parts per million. So that gives you kind of the specifications there for it. So Atkin says, I wish I wasn't at work today so we could chat on stream soon. It's got to happen, my friend. Yes, Ian. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on having Ian on as a co-host or a guest to talk about saltwater stuff. So Ian, I will be reaching out to you soon. I'm trying to figure out a date and time that works best for that. But soon, definitely. Atkins says, I calibrate my TDS pens with distilled water. It's supposed to read zero TDS, and if it doesn't, I get a new pen. Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, but the thing is like again, you that again, that also can entail that you have to calibrate it as well. Um, so like with the Milwaukee pen, like it's already factory calibrated, but it will allow you to recalibrate it if needed. Um, Zen says, yeah, that feels like a real chicken egg situation. Use the TDS pen to check the water, but the water needs to be at the right TDS to test the pen. Yeah. Yeah. Jeff says, if you need over 1K, you're salty. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But remember, it's not just about, these pens are just not used for aquarium purposes only. They can be used for other aspects as well, where you need to test the TDS, and maybe the TDS will be close to 1,000. You never know. Homer says, can't wait for the self-cleaning aquarium filter. That reminds me of that filter in Finding Nemo. You guys know what I'm talking about when they finally break the filter in their tank so it gets dirty, and they're, they're hoping that, sorry if you guys did not watch, if some of you did not watch Finding Nemo, spoilers ahead, but they break the Nemo breaks the filter, and obviously the tank is covered in algae and all that stuff, um and then, they're waiting for the day when the dentist um is going to start cleaning, so he will bag them up, take them out, and they'll be able to escape that way. um and What happens is, while they're sleeping, the dentist already cleans their tank and replaces the broken filter with a new filter that scans the water, and then it actually talks and it tells you that the aquarium is clean and everything like that. And I'm just like, what in the world is this? But yeah, Homer's comment reminded me of that. Eric says, I put an automatic doser on 2 of my tanks, and it's the best thing I could have ever done. All I have to do is increase the amount every few weeks, and it's golden. For what use? Water changes? And then Nathan says, I didn't know that about TDS meters. I now have to get some distilled water and see if my pen is correct. Yes, yes. You definitely want to make sure that your testers and probes and whatnot are calibrated. What about rainwater? It's not pure water, from my understanding. And especially if you live near factories, chemical factories, things like that, it might be acidic rain. So you wanna be careful with that. I would not use rainwater. I would use pure RODI water, distilled water, or RODI water, where the TDS is 0. Shady says, Professor, can you please show the back of the pen where the adjuster port is? Do they have something to show the back of it? Well, that's the probe that's where the probes are. And this also has a temperature probe associated with it. There is a temperature compensation associated with it. Um yeah, I don't think they provide a back photo of it. Um, So Red Laser says, looks like they do offer calibration solution with like 1382 ppm for TDS. They do? I saw something for TDS, but it was for conductivity. Or oh, never mind. I found it. They do have it. Okay. Hang on, let me share the screen for that. So that's the sachet. It's 25 count. So it's the Milwaukee M10032B 1382 ppm TDS calibration solution. Do they have a description? Yes, they do. The performance of conductivity probes are affected by use due to residue buildup and aging. What I want to see is, for what exactly is this used for? Like, what does it say? It does not say. Or specifications. No. Okay. So I'm assuming it's for their TDS pens, obviously. So M10032B is a lab grade 1382 ppm TDS solution, standard, prepared against a NIST traceable potassium chloride solution that allows you to recalibrate your conductivity meter or tester. Okay, I see. Basically, the TDS pens are done through conductivity. That makes sense now. Check your meter or testers manually to find the correct calibration standard for your meter. TDS readings are affected by temperature. To help with this, a chart of the actual ppm value at various temperatures is printed on each sachet. Milwaukee TDS solutions are labeled with the lot number and expiration date and packaged in an airtight temper-proof sachet. Cool. And that's design features and all that stuff. Okay, so they do have Milwaukee does offer TDS calibration. Good to know. Uh, go back to Atlantic Aquariums. Uh, exactly. I mean, just it was just a what you call it a what's the word I'm looking for? Eh, I can't remember what the word I'm looking for, but yeah, if you haven't seen Finding Nemo and you keep fish, what are you doing with your life? Especially Finding Nemo 2, because Finding Nemo 2 is set in basically the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So, um Liquid Zoo says, or Matt says, "Yep, Zen, I have yet to watch it and he just ruined it for me. Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate." Um Eric says macro and micro dosing for freshwater tanks. Oh, okay. Cool. My roller filter is close to self-cleaning, but not smart enough. I mean, yeah, until you have to replace the roller, the filter rollers. Yeah. I the roller filters are really cool and they're an interesting invention, but the thing is like there's what's the word I'm looking for, man? It's not sustainable because you have that roll basically that once it's all done, you take it out and you toss it away, right? So I would rather stick to my sponges and all that stuff and filter socks because I can clean them out and reuse them. Um, but yeah. And Zen says, and if it runs off your house or you have smog, it's definitely not pure. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And rinse in between each time you test in distilled water. Yep, exactly. That's just basic that's just basic care of a lot of your probes and things like that. Yeah, we learned that in lab when we do, as scientists when we're in the lab, that's one of the main things they teach us at the beginning is how to take care of your probes and testers and everything like that, to rinse them out in distilled water, or sometimes we'll use ethanol for certain things. Um See you, Zen. Thank you very much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Shady says, show all views, please, slowly. Views of what, Shady? I apologize. I'm sorry. So Nathan says, I'm looking at my TDS meter and I don't believe I can calibrate it at all. Brand is HM Digital TDS EZ. Hmm. I don't I don't I don't believe I'm familiar with that. I know Hannah is calibrated you can calibrate the Hannah one. The Milwaukee one you can calibrate it. But I'm not familiar with that. If anybody else is familiar with that, please feel free to pitch in. But yeah, Jeff says TDS is a conductivity test. Yeah, yeah. That was a brain fart on my on my end. Nathan says Richard Reynolds uses them, so I figured I'd just get the same as it's working for him. I'm a copycat. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a great I'm sure it's a reputable meter, TDS meter. I just like the fact that I have the ability to calibrate, and this is coming from a scientific standpoint or scientist standpoint. Is after a while when there's a lot of gunk or anything like that that might just generally accumulate into it, it can alter your meter, it's just basically just for peace of mind to be able to just put it into a calibration solution, basically pure zero TDS water, and seeing that it's still saying zero, you're good to go. If it's not saying zero, then the TDS might need to be calibrated. The thing with conductivity, like that's why I was getting confused, is because conductivity probes, at least the ones that I have used, they're using electricity in a way, but it's usually coincided with salinity to test salinity. They use conductivity to test that. Um, but it's the same thing with this pen. Is it's using conductivity to test for the solids, dissolved solids in the water. Atkins says, "I have a fleece roller on my cichlid tank. No more socks." Yeah, I mean, it's if you hate the filter socks, it has its uses. But like I said, I'm 100% for sustainability. Um, those rolls that you use for the rollers is going into a landfill, and I want to avoid that at much as I can. So I perfectly am fine. I've worked with filter socks since I worked with systems and labs and all that stuff, and I have no problems cleaning them. Oops, sorry. Um, and as the same thing with sponges, they're reusable stuff. Anything that's reusable that I don't mind cleaning, I'm perfectly fine with it. But I do like the rollers. They're really cool. I love the concept behind them. But it's too much of a landfill opportunity for me to want to have one installed. Mike and Jeff Fishes uses a Milwaukee continual real pH probe in one of his tanks. Cool. Yep, you definitely want to make sure you calibrate your probes. I know when I was using the Apex probes, the Neptune Apex probes, I can't remember, maybe after a month or a couple of months, they recommended that they be calibrated, the probes be calibrated, which, to be honest with you, we were slacking on. So, but what are you going to do? Wilmer says, the last time I changed the roller was 3 months ago, but it's nice when you got a lot of big fish. Yeah, yeah, true that. So Shady says, I'm going to order the inline TDS meter and the TDS hand meter now, as long as it has the calibration hole. Yeah, it has it. It should have it. I believe it comes with that little screwdriver thingy to calibrate. So it is calibrate. You are able to calibrate it, so you should be fine. I don't have the calibration solution. I can't get that in, so you're welcome to get that from Milwaukee. There's 25 sachets for like 27.99. So you should be good. You should be good there. Yeah, Zen left you guys unsupervised. Um, But Shady, what link did you need? I can post it for you. Just let me know. But I mean, you're welcome to just hop on to the website. It's in the equipment section. But um, Shady says I have the calibration fluid already. Okay, cool. But yeah, let me know what links you want, and I can forward it to you. I can put it in the chat thing. Nathan says CO2 question. I've been running the system for 3 days now, and the drop checker hasn't changed colors yet. Does that mean the tank doesn't have enough CO2, or does it take a couple days before changing? It should not take that long to change. When I installed, hang on, let me get rid of this so you guys can see me. When I installed I don't know if you can see it properly. So when I installed the Fluval checker, it changed. It took a little bit. It didn't change. It started changing to fully green. So what happened was it would not change until later in the day when the CO2 would shut off, if that makes sense. What that indicated to me was there was not enough CO2 going into the system. So what I did was I cranked up the CO2, and now it takes a couple of minutes to maybe half an hour to fully go green. Um so Nathan, my thing would be basically my first thing would be is there's not enough CO2. So I would kind of crank up the CO2 a little bit. Don't just blast it all, but crank it up a little bit. Keep an eye on the bubble counter, right? And then see what happens. See if it takes a little bit more, if it still takes that much time for your CO2 checker to change colors, or if it does it quicker. Um and go from there. But it shouldn't take that many. It shouldn't take days for it to change color. But yeah, and Ian has a good question for Nathan. Is it blue or is it green? So if it's blue, it there's not enough CO2. If it's green, if it's pure green, then it has enough CO2. And Nathan says blue, lightish blue. Yeah, it's there's not enough CO2 in there. Shady says Jeff did it for me. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. Um, Wait, what? I just added open to my cart and now it's out of stock as I was checking out. I give up. What? What's out of stock? Oh, wait, I think I know. I think I know. Hang on. Hang on. I think I know what happened here. I need to double check something. Um, yes, that's another good point. What Ian is saying, Nathan, you want to make sure that the CO2 is in the flow of whatever the filtration is. Nathan says sponge filter only, but it's okay. Oh, I would not use a sponge filter in conjunction with CO2. And personally, I would not do that. And there's a reason for it is because the sponge filter is creating a lot of water agitation. And what that's doing is it's promoting a lot of gas exchange. So the CO2 you're pumping into your aquarium, that CO2 is just getting gassed out through that. Um, which is why the sponge filter in this tank, I actually turn it off when the CO2 is on, and then when the CO2 turns off, I turn the sponge filter back on to do that gas exchange, if that makes sense. Um, but that's just me. That could be another reason why there's not enough CO2 in there. But you definitely want flow in the system to keep to basically push that CO2 bubbles that are coming out throughout your tank. Um, where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay. So, oh boy, Shady, you're not gonna like this. So, Shady, what happened was, I believe, and Jeff, correct if I'm wrong, because I did get a notification that Jeff placed an order. I only have one TDS meter available. So I think Jeff got to it before Shady you got to it, and it's now out of stock. So I have to reach out to my distributor and to see if they're gonna get more of those pens in, and then I can restock that way. I apologize, but yeah, I just had one pen available, and I think Jeff got to it before you did, Shady. I might be wrong though. I haven't seen what Jeff bought, but um uh, So Red Laser says, question on distilled water with ozone. It is a benefit for salt water and it is a benefit for salt water and any benefit for freshwater. Ozone is unstable. Professor Ian or Rainer, any comments? So, ozone is interesting, and I believe, and I think somebody had a very good video on ozone. I think BRS had a very good video on ozone. But yeah, ozone is I personally recommend ozone for advanced saltwater aquariums. The concept behind ozone is for water clarity, to really clarify the water. There's a whole science behind it. I'm not going to get into it right now. I know BRS has a dedicated video or series to ozone. Um, like there's a bunch of stuff that revolves around ozone, like activated carbon is um is involved and all that stuff. Um, so like ozone is like for advanced level hobbyists. I haven't really heard it being used for fresh water, only for salt water, and the purpose of it is for water clarity. Um, but yeah, I know BRS has a good video on it that kind of explains the whole intricacies of it. I might do a video on it at some point, but not until I myself set up my saltwater system. That way I have some content to post about. So Shady says, don't bother for me. I can get everything locally. Jeff doesn't have pet stores nearby like I do. Okay, that's fine. I do apologize though, but yeah, like if you want to get that in, I can get it in. I'll reach out. I'll still reach out to my distributor, but I do apologize for that. Car is here. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. So Homer says ozone can make water thads like invisible and reduce the parasite like ick. That's what I experienced for koi ponds and marine keepers. Yeah, and yeah, so a lot of people use ozone for like very large systems. It's even used in public aquaria for some of the large exhibits. Um, I'm trying to remember if the aquarium I work at uses ozone. I don't remember, but a lot of public aquaria use ozone generators. Actually, no, they do. Um, uh, the aquarium I work at for our Shark Realm exhibit, they have an ozone generator. Um, but yeah, so it's mainly used for larger tanks, and I personally recommend for it, only people who are advanced level hobbyists to really dabble in it. Um, but yeah, if you are curious about it, BRS Bulk Reef Supply, they do have a video on it that kind of talks about it. So Homer says, I used it in koi pond and on marine tanks. You need a skimmer or reactor for it, and it makes the skimmer efficient. Yeah. And what people will do is you also want to add activated carbon, and they'll usually put it on the skimmer where it sucks in the air, if that makes sense. For mine, actually, no, not on that. It's on the ozone generator. Somewhere on the ozone generator, you want to add activated charcoal, as it's sucking up something I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember watching the videos on it. Um, on exhale. Yep. Thank you, Homer. Okay, so where was I? Let's go back to Atlantic Aquariums. I appreciate the question, guys. Thank you. Jeff says, I stepped away for a moment. Are we all good? Yeah, we're good. Um, I don't know, Jeff, did you buy that TDS pen? Because if you did, that was the only TDS pen I had available, and Shady wanted it too. But he said it's all good. He said he can get it locally, um, but you can't. So okay, cool. And you're very welcome, Laser. Happy to help. Okay, so yeah, so that's some of the new things. Oh, there's a few other things I forgot to mention. So I talked about Milwaukee, I talked about Brightwell. So yeah, so that's the Brightwell remineralize and all that stuff. There is a few Brightwell stuff for that's in the hardscape and aquascaping section. Excuse me. Oops, excuse me. And that's these, oh, not that, these three right here. So Brightwell Aquatics Cato Grow, Brightwell Aquatics Neo Phos, and Brightwell Aquatics Neo Nitro. And there was supposed to be another thing there. These are fertilizers that I will be hopefully using for my macroalgae setup that I will be doing for the Clash. There's also another one is Brightwell follows something that starts with an F. That basically is an iron supplement, because Cato Grow does not have iron in it. But yeah, this is part of a 4-part fertilizer that I have discovered. People who have macroalgae setups, but not a lot of livestock, will use as fertilization. Um, I think that's the only thing new in the world of hardscape and aquascaping supplies. Yes. Okay. And then moving on to Atlantic jungles. This is where a lot of the semi-aquatic stuff is. So your frogs, turtles, axolotls, salamanders, tortoises. And then I believe if we go to equipment and supplies. Yes, okay. So what is new in the world of food, and it's currently out of stock, but there's a reason why I have it out of stock, is because I'm very cautious now. But it's Atlantic Aquariums is now a Arcadia retailer. So if you guys aren't familiar with Arcadia, It is a UK brand dedicated to foods, supplements, and equipment for vivariums, terrariums, reptiles, amphibians, things like that. And I currently will be carrying their food, predominantly geared more towards semi-aquatic stuff. So if you're looking for gecko food, I don't have that. So like for example, Amphibigold aquatic amphibian diet. It's a prepared food for a lot of your aquatic amphibians, your axolotls, your African clawed frog, your African frogs, dwarf frogs, claw frogs, toads, things like that. It's also good for other fish. Other fish can also feed on it, I believe. Um, I've heard good views on it on most of their foods actually on for Arcadia. So there's Amphibigold, there's Optimized 52, which is for your tortoises. So that's what it looks like. You basically it contains a lot of flowers and things like that that are good for your tortoises, and you can mix other things in with it as well. Um, and then there's another one called Turtle Gold, and that is for your aquatic turtles specifically. So that's new in the world of foods. In the semi-aquatic world, and I do apologize that I'm going a bit fast if I am going a bit fast for you guys, but like I said, you're welcome to hop onto the website and take a closer look for yourselves. And then if we go down to plants, I have to keep an eye on the time because I believe at 6 p.m. Eastern time, Skipper is going to be going live, and I don't want to miss his live stream. I do enjoy going on his live stream, so I have to keep a track of the time, but I appreciate you guys sticking around. So let me just check back on chat real quick. Yeah, Jeff, that's what Shady was mentioning. All good. Hey there, Dee Dee. Thank you very much for stopping by. I had to order mine too. Jeff can't find any local or CO2 stuff except for the Fluval mini kit. Yeah, Dee Dee, we were just talking about TDS, the TDS pen because I carry that now from Milwaukee. So we were talking about that. Homer says, any good new Arcadia basking lamps? Not to my knowledge. Um, I am so far. I haven't really dived in to their like their equipment yet. I've only been focusing on the foods, but um, because I have to look into in terms of equipment, I need to make sure that it's geared towards what I specialize in, which is semi-aquatic stuff. So is it good for turtles? Is it good for tortoises? Is it good for your amphibians, your frogs, things like that? Um, and which for like a lot of your turtles and even your dart frogs and things like that, your toads and things like that, a lot of their lights do are suited for that. They even have on their website a tool where you would put in the species name and it tells you what lights they recommend for it. um, but in terms of like any new basking lamps in particular, I'm not too familiar. I know they have their oh, what's it called? It's gonna bother me. Hang on. We might have to take a trip to their website. Arcadia Reptile. Let's pull up their website. So that's their website. Let me hide Homer's question for a second so you guys can see the full website. So if you go down to lighting, you've got your fluorescent lamps, your compact lamps, lighting kits, accessories. Whoop, sorry. So some of the few things that I will be getting in predominantly the forest, the D3 forest, T5 lighting, and the compact lights. So for those of you who probably are like, what do you mean by compact? So if we go to the D3 forest compact, that's what it looks like. That and there was another light. I think it was desert, D3 desert. Um, but basically the tool that I was referring to was the lighting guide. So right up here it says lighting guide. You click that, and then it'll ask, well, what's the reptile species? And then they also have a cool tool. They says if your animal did not appear in our search field, please send the name of the species. So you can plop it in there as well. But let's say dart frog. So Azaris blue dart frog, Dendrobates tinctoris, and then bam. So it gives you a guide. So basically, this is the bottom, and then they have the basking zone over here, and then they give you like a distance, so from heating height from reptile to lamp. So depending on the height and everything, it tells you their choices. So if the height is 15 to 18 inches above from where the reptile is, they recommend the D3 Forest T5 6% UVB. If it's from 10 to 15 inches, this is the combination they recommend: Shade Dweller Pro, Shade Dweller Max, and then D3 Forest, um, things like that. If we go back and type in um, uh, red-eared slider, which is a common turtle people tend to keep here, this is what they recommend for the basking for that. So in 15 to 24 inches, they recommend the D3 plus desert. If it's 12 to 15 inches above from the basking or from the reptile, they recommend D3 plus desert, and then D3 forest. Um, so yeah, so it's lighting like that I will have available. I will be getting in the Thermal Zoo Pro hybrid lighting system, which I think is a very cool item. And then they've got their ceramic heating, their Jungle Dawn. This is their LED lighting option that I still have to explore a little bit. I'm not too familiar with that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, compact lamps, MV, basking. So that's their basking lamp right there. So yeah, not to my knowledge, I haven't really heard about any noticeable things in terms of basking lamps from Arcadia. But if you're interested in something relating to that, um, let me know and I can look into it for you. I am still trying to get more familiarized with Arcadia. I hope that answered your question. I apologize if it didn't. Um, oh, Homer says terrapins. Well, let's see what they say about terrapins. Yep, they have one for diamondback terrapin. Diamondback terrapins are actually native, or they're found a lot in the estuaries um, of where I am in Jersey, in New Jersey. So this is what they say for terrapins. Share screen. Uh, yes. So I typed in so their recommended guide for the species. So 15 to 25, 24 inches, they recommend the D3 plus desert lamp. For 12 to 15 inches from where the reptile is or the animal is, D3 plus desert or the D3 forest lighting. So either the T5, they also mentioned T5 or T8 or whatever the case might be, and it's usually the smaller, or not the smaller, but basically that or that will do sufficiently well for it. And then they have some, guides on the bottom as well for you. But yeah. Yeah, pretty much, Homer. Same like the sliders. I'm sure it's probably the same thing for all of your turtles and terrapins. But it's a hot spot lamp. Yeah, definitely. You definitely want a basking heat lamp as well. Most definitely. And I guess you can actually see that on their heating section. So they have halogen heat lamps, they have a deep heat projector, solar basking lamps, ceramic heaters, optimal heating packs, things like that. And then they have accessories for it as well. But that's definitely stuff that I'm going to be doing more research on, and as I get more comfortable with those products and whatnot, I'll start having them on the website. I also have to make sure that the US distributor that I'm getting Arcadia stuff from, they have that stuff in as well. Okay, so let's go to my website again, to the plant. Oh, why am I here? To the plant and macroalgae section. What am I doing? Uh, how many people do we have? We have 9 people. Okay, so it went down. That's fine. I appreciate for those of you who are still here. Um, okay, so I just wanted to briefly go over in terms of plants that you should be expecting to come in soon. So what I was planning to do was I would go on to like the back in stock request list that I have, and just do a brief rundown of what the plants are, a few tidbits on them if you have any questions about them. And then if you guys have particular plants you would like me to get in, I will put that on the list. Or if you just go to the website and hit the back in stock request, that definitely helps. So the first plant that I have on the list is I can't talk. Hygrophila pinnatophyta. It's the tissue culture one. So the one to grow tissue culture. So if I scroll down, I have to go down a lot to where the tissue culture stuff is. Now I could be hitting the filter, but might as well show off what plants I can get in. So here it is. So Hygrophila pinnatophyta, or Hygrophila, however you want to say it. It is a medium category plant. Comes in the one to grow tissue culture. If you guys are curious as to what it looks like, that's what it looks like in the water. It's an interesting plant, as in the terms that it can be a epiphyte or it can be a stem plant. So you can attach it to your hardscape, or you can plant it in the substrate, whatever works best for you. Um, Depending on the environment you give it, it can have some really nice deep, I don't want to say maroon, but like brownish, reddish coloration to it. I have seen Pinnatophyta in a green form as well. Again, it just depends on the environment it's in. But it is a medium category plant, which means I would suggest you having medium to high lighting, as well as CO2 injection. Is highly recommended for that. So that's a plant that is on the back in stock request. So that is definitely a plant. Hopefully, if Tropica has it in stock, I will be getting it in. And then the next, oh, why am I here? Let me exit out of these windows real quick because I don't need to be on here. Okay, here we go. Let me see if there's any questions regarding this. Nope, not yet. Okay. All right, so I guess we can move on. The next plant on the list is Taxiphyllum spiky, or excuse me, Taxiphyllum species spiky, which is your spiky moss. It is a one to, it is the request is for the tissue culture. I mean, technically for Tropica, they only offer the mosses in tissue culture. You can't get the mats or things like that. So Taxiphyllum spiky, there it is right there. I need to go back and update this to put the species, the SP in there. So that's the Taxiphyllum spiky. It is a easy category plant. Um, it gets its name because the moss is spiky, basically. That's what it looks like in the water. Very similar, not quite, but a little bit similar to like your Christmas moss, I would say. Has that conifer, coniferous type um, texture to it. Um, but yeah, it's moss. The thing with moss you want to keep track of is a lot of detritus can get accumulated into it. So when you're doing your water changes, you want to give it a bit of a wave to get that crud out of it, and then just siphon it out. But that's the only thing you really need to keep track of. But it is an easy category plant, so it'll do well in any type of lighting you give it. Doesn't really need CO2, and you just attach it to whatever you want to attach it to, wood, rock, what have you. Jeff says I really like Pinnatophylla. Cool. Um, Next one on the list is Anubias barderi mini coin. So this is, well, it's no longer relatively new. It's been out by Tropica for a while now, but I have gotten this in twice. I got this in once and it was sold out. And then, but unfortunately, they did not arrive great to. If you guys remember that Arizona story that I was talking about when we were talking about shipping with weather, and I talked about that shipment that I sent out to Arizona. It had basically the mini coin in it, so I had to order the mini coin again to reship it to the person. So, but then I did not hear back from that person, so I'm assuming that it arrived perfectly. But I did notice, but somebody did put in a back in stock request for it, so I will be getting it in soon. So that's the plant. It's in the tissue culture, obviously. And then this is what it looks like. So it is a Anubias barderi species, but it is a mini coin cultivar. So its leaves are very small, coin shaped. I think it's even smaller than petite. I think. Um, could be wrong though. Oh, there's a little cute little autosynclus. Um, so that's another plant that hopefully I will be getting in stock. It's on the list. And then next up is Aleocaris Pusilla mini. Now this plant was actually renamed not too long ago, so it's called Aleocaris pusilla. I believe it was called Aleocaris acicularis mini, but it's now changed to Aleocaris pusilla. Um, Hang on, let me. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place. I apologize. Where are you? Where are you? Here it is. All right. So Eliocaris Facilla mini, basically your dwarf hairgrass. Um, it's a great carpeting plant. It is medium category, which means recommended medium to high lighting. Remember, if you want to keep it short and mini and stout, as Scotty might say, you want to give it good lighting so that way it doesn't have to extend upwards towards the light and it will stay compact. So you will definitely want to give them, some good lighting. You don't want it to be overshadowed by other plants. CO2 I would strongly recommend for it, obviously mini medium category. And it's a good carpeting plant. It's a cool carpeting plant, and sometimes I've seen a lot of people actually mix carpeting plants, so they'll add, like, I don't know, marcilla marsilia into that. Excuse me, your four leaf clover, just to add a little bit of texture into it. Some people will add your Monte Carlo or dwarf baby tears into it as well. um but yeah, so somebody did put in a back in stock request for it, so that's definitely on the list. Hopefully, if Tropica has it in stock, I will definitely get it in. Jeff says, "Sorry, I really like the Hygrophila pinnatifila." All good, Jeff. I knew what you're talking about. But yeah, it's a really cool plant. And I've gotten it in a couple of times, but it didn't really sell well for me, unfortunately. But I will be getting it in again because there is a back in stock request for it. Um, um, so I will be getting it in. Keep in mind, especially with the tissue culture, I'm only going to get 3 of each unless there is more of a demand for it. Otherwise, it's going to be 3 quantity each. So just keep that in mind. If if any of you who put in a back in stock request for it is present. Um, if you did put a back in stock request and you would like to let me know of how many of what quantity you would like to get in, that would be appreciative. That way I can make sure I have enough in stock. And then the last one that I have on my list in terms of plants is the Glossostigma elatinoides. Let's pull that one up. I haven't gotten that plant in a while, so it'd be cool to get it in. So where is it? Glossostigma. And I do apologize if I'm rushing. If you guys want me to go back to another one that I've already passed through, please let me know. Um, but so here is Glossostigma. That's what it looks like in the aquarium. It is a carpeting plant, another carpeting plant. That's what it looks like out of the cup. So it is a advanced category plant. Does it have a common name? Glosso, I guess. It is an advanced category plant, which means highlighting definitely, CO2 definitely required. Um, for it to do well, and you should have good success with it. But yeah, it's a carpeting plant. It has a very different texture, and that's also a plant that I've seen people use mixed in with like your dwarf hairgrass or what have you. Um, but yeah, so this is something that I haven't gotten in a while, so it'll be cool to get it in. But yeah, so that's what I have on the list so far. Um, Other than that stuff, there are, I believe, a few potted plants that I might get in. I'm hoping if they get the Bucephalandra Ketagang in, I will get that. Um, there was another potted plant I wanted to get in. I can't remember what it was. Hi, fishy. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I'm when I look into the when I look into the list, I might remember. uh, Red Laser says, Jeff, I like it. I like it too. I had it once on a piece of wood. Cool. And Jeff says, it does go for me until it doesn't. It might have been me, but my memory fails me frequently. Yeah, I've been there. Um, but yeah, so that's what I have on the list so far. I might have to add more plants to that list to meet the minimum price requirement. What I'm hoping for is to focus more on the in the tissue culture, mainly because I have more room now to keep tissue cultures in stock. So, ooh, that this tank is dirty. Um, let me stop sharing my screen for a moment so you guys can see this not so pretty face. But yeah, I want to get more tissue culture plants in because I have more room up here to keep them in. But I mean, if there is a demand for potted plants, I don't mind getting more of the potted stuff in. Um, but yeah, oh, we're almost at the 2 hour mark. Um, Homer says, "Is Bucephalandra a low light plant?" Yes, it is. Um, Almost all of your, well, not all of your epiphyte plants, but a lot of your buces um and your Nubia species, they prefer low light. They are natural, they are slow growing, and they're low light, and because of that they are prone to get like spotted green algae and things like that, so you want to keep them in low light. Oops, sorry. um Bucephalandra is a rhizome plant just like your Anubias, so you do not want to, well, you can bury the roots in the substrate. You do not want to bury the rhizome into the substrate, otherwise you're gonna kill it. The rhizome needs to breathe, it needs to have water circulating through it. um yeah, so yeah, it is a low light plant. You should do fine with it. I've done fine with it as well, but of course the more light you give it, the more you put it in good lighting, CO2, things like that, it will benefit from it, but it's not needed. Easy, they're easy to maintain plants. The only Bucephalandra I have in stock right now is Bouquet Clem, which was formerly known as Wavy Green. Sorry, almost my knee was cracking. Um, that's the only plant I have in stock. How many do I have in stock? I think I have 4 in stock. I think Scotty bought a pot from me, so I had 5. Now I have 4. But yeah, it's been um, growing well for me. I've had those plants for a while in stock. So actually, almost all of the epiphytes I have in stock, I've had since even before Clash. So, but they're growing, so I enjoy them. They're doing better than these guys in here. It's the only plant that survived in my cylinder tank. Can't escape that monster. um, Cylinder. You mean, oh, cylinder tank? Okay. How many gallons is it? Because I know people escape like cylindrical jars and things like that, but um but I've seen cylinder aquariums. I remember when I first got into the hobby, I was like, I want a cylinder tank. Um, I think they'd be cool because they're more vertical, so you can keep certain fish that like that, especially if you're looking at the saltwater world seahorses. Excuse me, or better yet, for cylindrical tanks, you can get schooling fish that basically will school around. I think there was a video I can't remember who set it up, but somebody set it up at an aquashella, and it was not a tall cylindrical tank. It was more wide, but they had like a big school or shoal of cardinals, and they were just swimming around the tank, and it was a big. It was featured in a lot of stuff too. It was a gorgeous tank. Homer says 100 gallon. Ooh, that's a big tank. Yeah, that tank would be very hard to escape, especially with it if it's like tall. It would definitely be hard to escape, but it would definitely be cool though. I think a cylindrical tank, like with that many gallons, I'm assuming would be very tall. To just have Vallisneria just growing with like angels swimming in there as well, but just have the Val just growing as tall as it can. I think it would be really cool. And I think Joey Mullen, King of DIY, did that because he used to have a cylinder tank. I don't know if he still has it or not, but he used to have that. And I think he was growing Vallisneria in there. I might be wrong though. So Nathan says, yeah, I believe it was Aquashella Daytona. Okay. Homer says it's ceiling high. I got some glowfish and angels in it. Cool. Light is the problem. What light do you have on it? If you have glowfish in there, are you using like a black light to have the glowfish glow, or is it just regular lighting? Because in terms of its height, you definitely want some powerful lights to go to be able to reach the bottom as well. For that, you need some of the high tech lightings like Kessels, things like that, spotlights. Red Laser says your comments on Bucephalandra are 100% correct. If algae is going to grow, that is the preferred plant. Moved to the corner of the tank, making a recovery, hopefully. Cool. And then Homer says, I got a Kessel 350X with lenses. 350X, 350X. Do I have that on my website? I do have Kessels on my website, but I don't remember which ones. Aquarium equipment and supplies. No, I have the A360Xs. So let's look those up. So Kessel 350 350X. 350X. Three. I don't think Kessel has those anymore. Because what I'm seeing is the 360s, not the 350s. So it might be that Kessel no longer produces them. Looks like it. Because this is the 360. For freshwater, it's the Tuna Sun. Oh, 360. Okay. Yeah. So, Kessel 360 for a 100-gallon cylinder tank. I don't think that would be enough. Yeah. It's I know what you're talking about now. I'm just trying to share my screen so I can pop it up. Oh, you have the marine one. Yeah, I would not use the marine one for freshwater plants because they're designed for corals, not plants. You want the Tuna Sun, which is this one right here. So that's the A360X Tuna Sun LED light. For you, for your setup, I mean, I don't know what the diameter of your tank is. Does your system have a canopy, Homer? Does your cylinder tank have a canopy? And what is the diameter? Which would translate to length for the light, but excuse me, because there's another light that you might want to try. I mean, I don't know if you would want to try or not, but um I know their A500s are pretty powerful. And then they have this new railing system light that's also very powerful, but um oh, but they don't have it for freshwater. That's a shame. Yeah, that's a shame. Because they have the A360X, the A160WE, and the A80 for freshwater. But they've got better high performing lights for saltwater. um so Homer says no top, it's 50 centimeters. How many inches is that? How many inches is 50 centimeters? 20 inches. Huh. Interesting. Okay, yeah, but that's still enough room. Um, no top. Okay. So apparently Kessel does not have the lights that for freshwater that I was hoping they would have. In which case, what I would then recommend is hang on, is AI aqua illumination. They're freshwater hydras. So this. But like I said, it like again, it depends on also your depth, whether or not these lights are powerful to reach the depth of your tank as well. But this is the freshwater version. There's a 32, a Hydra 32, and then there's what's it called? A 64, which is a bit more wider. It has, instead of 2 pucks, it has 4 pucks. I have good experience with AI, but the marine version of it. That's some of its specifications. Yeah, for something like that, you definitely want to also have a TDS, not a TDS meter, uh, a meter that checks the lumens or whatever or that light, whatever that meter is called. I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize, but yeah, that is what I would recommend trying. Because I don't think that 360 light, the marine light, is going to really work for you for that size of a cylinder tank for freshwater. Um, this is what I would at least recommend looking into. Nathan says, "Well, this stinks. Hooked up my power head in the CO2 tank for flow, and it's getting water inside the motor housing and making an awful noise. So that's shot. Looks like it's getting a hang on back Title 35. Yeah. Wait, Nathan, do you have a hang on back Title 35, or are you going to buy one? In which case, I would recommend getting the Waze one. I'm just joking. but yeah, you definitely want flow and a hang on back filter. I believe you said you had a 20-gallon tank. It should do perfectly fine. Um, Jeff says, I did already submit a Hygrophila Pinatophyta notification. Okay, so that was probably you. Actually, I can even see who submitted. the back in stock request, and it was not you, Jeff. It was somebody else. But um, unless that email is yours, in which case, then yes, it is you. But I'm not gonna say what the email is. Um, Nathan says I have it. I won it last year when Fish Fam did its Christmas event giveaways. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, title is also a good filter as well. I just like the Fluval Aqua Clears as well as the Oase Biostyles. I think they're really cool. They're very powerful hang on backs. But yeah, if your tank was more than like 30 or 40 gallons, Um, I would have recommended the a canister filter instead of a hang on back. But for a 20-gallon, a hang on back should be, especially the 35, should be perfectly fine. Jeff says it's public on Fish Fam link. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's your email or not, which is why I'm not gonna share it. But I mean, regardless, if you submitted it a back in stock request, that's the only back in stock request I see so far. So it's most likely you, which is perfectly fine. I appreciate that, and I hope to get that in as soon as possible. Um, yeah, cool. So it is 2 hours and 7 minutes in. There are 8 people in here, 9 people now. Which I appreciate you guys sticking for as long as you have. Um, I appreciate it if you guys hit the like button if you haven't. It definitely gives me a confidence boost. But that's pretty much it, unless you guys have any more questions. I'm happy to answer. Um, oh, hey there, Cora. No worries. Thank you for stopping by. I hope excuse me, hope everything is good with you. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Nathan says I have several filters in the closet. I went from hang on back and canisters to sponge filters only. I'm keeping all the others because you never know when you'll need another filter. Absolutely. Yeah, with sponge filters, the biggest tank I will ever use a sponge filter for, maybe a 20-gallon. Um, Otherwise, it's hang on backs for 10 gallons, 20 gallons, and then if I am at 40 gallons or bigger, it's canister filters for me. And in terms of canister filters, I love the Oase Biomasters thermos specifically because it comes with a heater in. But if you're heating the room, you don't need the thermo version. You can just get the regular version. And then obviously for larger tanks than that, especially for saltwater systems, I go with the sumps all the time. Um, Even for like the macroalgae tank that I'm setting up, it's a 10-gallon tank, but I'm going to be hooking up a canister filter, the Oase FiltoSmart canister 100 canister filter for it. I could do a hang on back, but with the canister filter, you're getting more water volume, so it definitely helps. Homer says the Oase pond filters are pretty nice. Yeah, yeah, Oase is pretty known for their pond stuff. I do have a pond section, but I exclusively carry Aquascape. I prefer Aquascape's products. They're pretty sleek. They're pretty disclosed. It's more of a naturalistic system that they have. So that's the stuff I carry. Coro says, "Yep, we had to go up to the cabin because it was gonna be cold, and you gotta run a fire. If you don't want the electric bill to be crazy, also the power company just randomly shuts it off preemptively." Yep, they be doing that. A cabin, that's fun. Nathan says, "Both my canister filters I got for free. Also, Marineland, the biggest one, um, and the one right under that, but my hang-on backs are just cheap ones from Walmart. Yeah, the aquaculture, I'm assuming." And you got to keep it heated if you don't want your water heater and pipes to explode. Yep, definitely true for that. Um, hey man, it's a cabin. I'm assuming you're in the woods. You know, loving nature. Nothing wrong with that. Nathan says, yeah, and whispers. Yeah, the Tetra whispers. Yep. hmm Yeah, I don't go to Walmart for my aquarium needs. I did when I first started in the hobby, to be fair. But yeah, when it comes to filtration, I guess, I'm bougie in that way, but I still use sponges. I use them for the 20-gallon low boys. But yeah, for hang on backs, I love the Fluvel Aqua Clears, the Oase BioStyles. For my canisters, I love Oase. Um, and then for sumps, there's a bunch of different, you know, builders of sumps. It just depends on what you're looking for. And nowadays, a lot of your big saltwater tanks come with the sump anyway. But yeah. Chef says YouTube tricked me. Sane Cretin at the G place. Usama. What? I'm confused. What are you talking about, Chef? How did YouTube trick you? Let me stop sharing my screen so you guys can see me. I'm curious as to what happened to Jeff. Sorry, I'm getting notifications about the website. I can't type an email. Oh, are you trying to type it in chat? Because I don't think it'll allow you to do that unless I guess if you're a moderator, or are you just trying to log in to your YouTube account? Nathan says, I'm starting to be that way as well. I do run aftermarket media in all my filters and would absolutely love to have Fluval brand for everything. Yeah, when it comes to media, I just use what it comes with. So obviously with the Fluval Aqua Clear. For saltwater stuff, I love the Ceram media. Um, what's it called? Marine Pure. I like their media for that, biological media. And then obviously the Oase filters come with really nice reusable filtration, so it comes with sponges. I know the biostyle hang-on backs for Oase come with cartridges that you would replace, but you can easily modify to just by shoving sponges in there. Um, and then with the Biomasters, the large canisters, they come with pre-filter sponges and all that stuff. And I just use whatever comes in with the canisters. If I need to use chemical media, I like to use the ChemiPure, the ChemiPure media. Um, I tend to use that. It has carbon and all that stuff in there. Um, Jeff says it doesn't allow it to be typed, but YouTube showed it as it went through until I closed and reopened the chat. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Let me, I'm curious. Let me check something real quick. Oops, sorry. Did not mean to hit that. Yeah, Jeff, I just looked up your email on FishFam link. That is not the email that I see for whoever sent that back in stock request. Unless you used a different email, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that's not the email I see for the Hygrophila pinnatophyta back in stock request. Nathan says, "What's your thoughts on the top fin aftermarket type media pack? If you've, oop, I need to stop. I need to get a better thing for this laptop. Uh, yeah, that's what I saw on Fish Fan Link, but that's not what was used for the back in stock request that I'm seeing. It might just be I just didn't scroll down long enough to see it. But anyway, it's just me being stupid. What's your thoughts on the top and aftermarket type media pack? If you've seen them, they come with everything needed, even a pre-filter sponge. I haven't really I haven't really focused a lot on, or I haven't really looked into top fin filters. I used to get their tanks, like their tank kits, whatnot. Um because for those, I mean, obvious, most of you guys probably know this, but Top Fin is PetSmart's brand for their aquarium stuff. Um, Top Fin media packs. Ow, my knee's cracked. Is it like that? Is it like it's the Pro 30, Pro 10, 110, Pro 50? Nathan, is that what you're talking about? Or wait, that's a power filter? Is that a power filter? No, that is not a power filter. That's a filter media pack. Yeah, okay. Um okay. So let me share my screen. And then I'm just going to hide this comment for a second so you guys can hear properly or see properly. So yeah, so it's the Top Fin Pro Power Filter Media Pack. Can we increase the image? No, we cannot. Oh, that's stupid. So it comes in stuff. It comes in these, that. Okay, so it comes with your sponges, your media bag, activated charcoal, carbon. And it's, I guess, for its interesting. So it comes, people have bought it with the Aquatop or the Top Fin hang-on backs. Yeah, I didn't even know these existed, Nathan, to be honest with you. Oop, hello. But I can see that it's used for these filters. Interesting. Oh, and then it comes with a skimmer? What? I didn't know that. Let's go back to, excuse me. I mean, to answer your question, now that I'm taking a look at it, like these two things right here, take them out, rinse them in aquarium water, plop them back in. Okay, that you don't even need to do anything. You shouldn't even do anything with that. If it gets gunked up, like sometimes the fluval hang on back that I have on the tank behind me, the media bags, it'll get gunked up sometimes. What I'll do is I'll just take it out, just shake it in the aquarium water that I've siphoned out. It gets cleared up. I plop it back in. You rarely need to change that. You technically do after a certain time, and usually the manufacturer will tell you when to change it. But I haven't changed mine in a while. As for the activated carbon, you only need that to take in certain elements out of the water, right? And then I mean they don't even last that long anyway. So you're just gonna toss them out after that, and then you can just get those media bags filled with whatever chemical media you want separately anyway. So I mean, so to buy this stuff, I don't see the point in it, really. I mean, yeah, it's 7.99, but like I said, you're just gonna rinse those out, squeeze them, whatever, plop them back in. The actual biological media, you barely need to change that anyway. So I don't see the purpose of buying this. I mean, if you bought their hang on back, I'm assuming they should be giving this stuff with the hang on back. So that's my 2 cents on that. Um, yes, Jeff, that's the one. Okay, so it is you. Okay, cool. So, relatives of Sama, thanks for stream. Just moving to the car listening. That's fine. Appreciate you stopping by. Nathan says, when I got back into the hobby, I found the co-op and learned about hot rodding the filters and found this stuff. I don't use the carbon unless I need to remove meds, etc. Okay, I see. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it's for what you get in that pack, it's pretty cheap. I mean, but then again, like um this is for their oh, they have different sizes, never mind. So like they have the one for the 30 gallon, the 50 gallon, the 70 gallon, the 110 gallon. So I can see utilizing the stuff for like other stuff or to bulk stuff. That makes sense. But but yeah, still don't see the point of it. But yeah, so we're almost at the 2.5 hour mark. But I appreciate the questions and the conversations we've been having. I think it's been a good, constructive conversation. Um, before class is dismissed, anybody else have any other questions? Any husbandry questions for me? Shady, are you still watching, or did you leave? I'm not sure because I wanted to ask which inline TDS meter you were interested in. But if you're not on, that's fine. I can if I catch you on another stream, I'll ask you then. But hello there, Ivanovsky. Thank you very much for stopping by. Professor FishTanks, what is your opinion about filter sponge rinsing on tap water and rinsing aquarium water in any size of volume of water? So I'm assuming what you were asking is what is my opinion on cleaning sponge filters in tap water versus aquarium water? Never, ever, ever rinse your sponges in tap water. Believe it or not, your sponge filters are not only mechanical, they are also biological. You have beneficial bacteria growing in those sponges. So you never want to rinse them in tap water, especially if your tap water has chlorine in it, because it's going to kill off your bacteria. You want to rinse them in aquarium water you siphon out of your tank when you're doing a water change. That's when I do it. Never rinse them in tap water. Never. Unless you dechlorinate it. But I've always learned when I was starting off in the hobby is sponges, you just rinse them in aquarium water and and you plop them back in, and you're good to go. Nathan says, thanks for all the amazing info and conversation today. I'm glad I checked to make sure I was subbed, and I'll be around a lot more. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much for stopping by. I enjoyed our conversation as well. Have you seen Primetime's video saying it's okay to rinse them under the sink? Primetime said that? Ugh. I mean, one of the main reasons why you don't want to rinse in tap water is because a lot of the chemicals they use to treat the water that is not good for your aquarium. Okay. Um, I don't know, or I don't remember if Primetime has well water or what it is, but that could be a reason why. Or if you are cleaning the sponge filters, if you're cleaning your sponge filters, like from your, yeah, if you're cleaning the sponges off of your sponge filter, but you have a lot of surfaces in your aquarium where there is beneficial bacteria, I don't think it will hurt for you to rinse your sponge filters in tap water. But for me, being the paranoid guy that I am, I don't do it. I just rinse them in the aquarium water. You know, you're saving water, I guess, from it. Um, but that's my 2 cents about it. Others might disagree with it, but Homer says when the other filters are big enough, should be okay or not. Again, okay, so it depends. Like for so uh, let's say you have a large canister filter as your only filtration, or you have um a sump for your saltwater system, and you have the sponges in there, and you need to clean them up because they're all gunked up. um Especially because, keep in mind, a lot those canister filters and sponge filters, I always think of them as an extension to the main aquarium. They're adding more water volume, which is always beneficial. um and for stuff like that, where it is large enough water volume, where it is contributing a lot of the beneficial bacteria for your system, and the sponges are also large, like the pads and whatnot, I would rinse them in aquarium water. I would not rinse them in tap water. That being said, if you have a large system with a lot of biological media and then just a sliver of a sponge pad, or you are using hang-on back filters in conjunction with a sponge filter in your tank, for example, and you need to clean out the sponge, you can use the tap filter, you can use tap water, but it's basically up to the aquarist, I would say, where you want to determine that what will the effects be if I rinse the sponge in tap water, killing off all the beneficial bacteria. If you have a bare bottom tank, like I have with these plant racks, it's bare bottom. There's no rocks, there's no substrate, anything for beneficial bacteria to really grow on, except for the sponge, right? Yes, there is beneficial bacteria growing on your glass and all that stuff. I would not rinse the sponges in tap water. I would rinse them in aquarium water. So basically, what I will never recommend rinsing your sponges in tap water, just to be on the safe side, because I do get paranoid from time to time. I will just rinse them in aquarium water. Don't rinse them in tap water. But it's up to you. It's up to you with your experience. Um, and you're basically, it's up to the aquarist how they want to do it. But going back to my answer to that is no tap water. Just rinse them in the aquarium water that you siphon the water out of. Coral says the amount of chlorine in tap water is not enough to significantly impact your bacteria colony. Yes, but still, again, Paranoid. I wouldn't do it. Just to be on the safe side. Hello there, Fish Hippie 39. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope everything is good with you. Best practice might be to rinse in old tank water, but that doesn't mean you should be afraid to rinse them if you don't have tank water available. Again, it depends on the impact that it would have on your system. If you have enough stuff in your tank that has beneficial bacteria, to kill off the bacteria in your sponge filter might not impact your overall system that much, but you know, that's just me. Atkins says you're still going. Yay. I mean, as long as people will ask questions, I'll still go. But I want to. It's 5:31, and I believe at 6 o'clock Skipper is going online, so I do have to get off because I want you guys as well as myself to go to Skipper's live stream. But yeah, people have been asking questions, which I really appreciated having conversations. So yeah, Ian says I'm just getting off work, off to the bank, then home. Cool. Cora says, I do sponge maintenance more often than I do water changes, for example. Yeah, but I am a huge advocate for weekly water changes. So I clean my sponges with my weekly water changes anyway. Um so yeah. I don't have any issues with access to aquarium water because I do them weekly. So but yeah, I always advocate for weekly water changes. Nathan says, "Yeah, prime time. Jason is his name, if I remember correctly." Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. That's why I was a little bit shocked. I didn't know that Jason said that it's okay to rinse your sponges in tap water. And Cora says, "Could I dechlorinate it first? Sure, but I can't use the sink sprayer with high pressure with dechlorinated water. Dechlorinated water. Also can't do that with old tank water." But why would you need your sprayer? You just take the sponge, put it in the bucket of water, and just squeeze it out. That's what I do. I don't use the sprayer. Um, the only thing I would use a sink sprayer for is for filter socks. Um, but that's the only thing I okay. That's the only thing I have cleaned in with tap water is filter socks. But then again, filter socks is mostly just your mechanical filtration. There's way you've got after filter socks, you've got sponges, and you've got for mechanical, extra mechanical, and you've also got your biological medium. So cleaning your filter socks is in tap water is not an issue. I can attest to that. I have done it with no issues. Um, Ian says, I need to get back into weekly water changes. I get lazy. It happens. It happens. I am guilty of that. But I will not go any more than 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I just get I need to get this water change done. And so I just start doing the water changes. Because the longer I leave stuff in, the more gunkier and the more nasty things get, and I just don't like that. And it's not good for the system itself because all that detritus and what old gunk that's in the sponges, in the filter socks, things like that is just decaying matter that's just adding more nutrients into the system. You want to get that out as soon as possible. So I do all my filter maintenances, all my water changes on a weekly basis. Yeah, it could be that could be the case. Ian says, I've been using straight up tap for years on sponges. If you haven't had any issues with it, by all means keep at it. But I will never advocate for cleaning your sponges on with tap water. And Cora says, also I use sponge as mechanical. Yeah, like I said, it's technically it's mechanical, but again, it is a surface for beneficial bacteria to grow on. So I treat, especially if I have a tank with just a sponge filter in it, I treat it as not only my mechanical but my biological as well. So that's why I don't want to kill off the beneficial bacteria in there, and I just clean it with aquarium water. But then again, keep in mind I do weekly water changes, so I I have access to aquarium water all the time. Homer says, "So how would you clean fine filter socks? Bleach?" So the procedure we had in my lab and when I was working when I was volunteering as a biologist for the aquarium I work at now, um, the filter socks would get rinsed. Actually, this is what we did. We would rinse the filter socks to get all the crud out with the spray. Clean it off, everything, and then we would dip it. We would soak them in a dilute bleach solution. After we did that for a while, we would take it out and put it into another solution to get rid of the chlorine. And then we would soak it in clean fresh water. And then after that, we would hang them to dry, to air dry. And then after that, we would plug them back in. But we had like multiple filter socks, so if we took a filter sock out, we would replace it with a clean one, and then put that into to clean. That was our procedure that we did, um, our lab procedure. Atkins says, "I'm adding a frag tank to my display today." Woo, cool. Well, at least plumbing it in today. Might wait to fill it. Okay. How big of a frag display? How big of a tank is it? But that's exciting. Homer says, "I can't get my socks clean enough." Well, they're not gonna be white like when they were brand new, but at least when we were cleaning our filter socks, they were clean enough. Um, and they work perfectly fine. And I mean, we did weekly maintenance on those as well. So, but yeah, I mean, they're never gonna be white as they were when they were brand new. But the purpose of spraying to get all the crud out, and then we would put them in the dilute bleach solution mainly for disinfecting. That's mainly what it's you're usually doing with it, is for disinfection. And so we would put it in a bleach solution, and then we would put it in another solution to 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 take out the bleach and the chloramines and all that stuff. And then we would rinse it in clean water, and then hang it to dry. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, Homer, you would definitely need to use some form of pressure with your water to really get them clean. Um, like what Cora was mentioning before, like that you get an attachment for your sink, usually a utility sink that has a spray on it, and that's what we had in our lab. And so we would just spray it. Um, when I was volunteering at the public aquarium, we actually had a garden hose with a sprayer on it, and so we would just spray it on that. It was a trash can that had a hole drilled into it that was attached to the drain in the floor. So we would plop the filter socks, and these were like larger filter socks. They're not like your home aquarium filter socks. These are for like public displays. And so we would prop it in to the trash can. We would first spray the outside of it, and then we would have to reach in and turn it out inside out, and then actually get the gunk out of that by spraying it with the hose. But it was in a trash can that had holes drilled into it, and it would just drain into the drain in the floor. And that was actually a very smart thing that they did, was so that way the water wasn't spilling all over the floor and things like that. um Coro says, "I either have K1 or substrate or a grow bed of some sort as the majority of bacterial room." Okay. And then Coro says, "Have you tried hydrogen peroxide?" And then Vinoski says, "That kind of brainstorming I like to hear sometimes during streams like this." Yeah. Yeah. Coro says, "Does K1 work in substrate?" Uh, Sorry, not substrate, salt water. Um, I've never heard of it being used in salt water for before. Um, Actually, no, I take that back. It should. Uh, Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Um, Coral, it should, but I mean, but as a biological media in your filter, not a substrate. I'm sorry, I haven't eaten in a while, so I think my brain is starting to stop work. Yes, Coral, it should work for salt water. I've heard of it used a lot in fluidized bed filters. So, for those of you who don't know what fluidized bed filters are, I mean that's a topic for a video, but I guess I can share it here. Is basically you have a chamber in your sump with water. You have the media in there, and then you have some form of circulation, something that's circulating the water. Some people will have an air stone in there. Others will have like a power head. And what happens is that media first is just floating. So it's like floating. But as it starts growing bacteria, it gets denser and then it starts to sink a little bit. And then it actually starts to fluidize in a way. And people like to use fluidized bed filters because it has supposedly more surface area and it allows the bacteria to breathe more. The type of bacteria that's growing in that media, because there's two types of bacterias. Um, um, there's bacteria that likes an oxidized environment. There's bacteria that does not like an oxygen-rich environment. Uh, BRS bulk biopellets are made from 100% natural ah, polyhydroxyliconates, or PHA, and are an excellent solid carbon source for denitrifying bacteria in the aquarium. Okay, good to know. And then Homer says, weekly isn't enough with my spotted scats eating algae from the live rocks. Oh, oh, you have spotted scats. Those are cool. Not a lot of people keep them. And then Homer says, I use my pressure nozzle. Yeah, you should get a lot of stuff out, but it's not gonna be white clean. As long as you get the crud out, and then like I said, I soaked socks in bleach mainly for disinfecting, but yeah, should be okay. Ian says, I don't know actually. I'm lost on the purpose for carbon source and why to use it. I don't know. I'm skeptical of it. I think that's for like PNS denitrifying bacteria or something. Okay. Ian says, I've seen biopellets completely. By the way, we're talking about biopellets here. I have no experience with what is being mentioned here. Um, that type of media. If I think I know what you're talking about, I don't have any experience with that. But according to Ian, the biopellets completely strip a tank of its nutrients and the tank crashes. I think that's a very specialized media for specific uses. I would agree. From what I have heard, definitely. And Homer says, I haven't tried. Um, I haven't tried only water. Okay. Ooh, chat's jumping here. Nathan says dinner time. Burger and fries. I can go for a burger and fries. I haven't had I haven't had not that it's healthy for you, but I haven't had McDonald's or Burger King in a while because I'm no longer supporting those two brands. But I did go to, where did I go? I have a there's a diner in close another town close to where I live, and they serve halal burgers, the halal beef burgers, and those burgers are good. Um, Great. Now you got me. Now, Nathan, now you got me craving a burger. The only thing I don't like is their burgers are a bit thick. I like the smash burgers, so I wish they did smash burgers, but they're a little bit more of a thicker patty, but it's fine. But they've got some good burgers. Um, and the fries are good too. Now I'm getting hungry. Um, Sorry, I'm just trying to zoom through chat real quick. If there's a particular question that I can answer, I will. But it's 5:47, and Skipper is going to be going in soon. Let me share the link for that, since I don't think any of my two what you call it, moderators are here, Scotty or Zen. Um, which one is it? That one, I believe. Okay, so okay, so I'm gonna post. That's to Skipper's live stream coming up, and thanks, Jeff, for stopping by. I appreciate it, bud. Take care of yourself. Coral says I clean the sponge in the hang-on back part every month, ideally. I clean them every week. Actually, no, I take that back. I'll usually let it slide, especially for now that I have a pre-filter on the hang-on back. I don't do it as often. I'll do it probably every other week. However, the pre-filter I have to do every time, and it's a pain in the butt. Don't know why vodka is being mentioned here, but um Ian says, what corals do you grow at the lab? I have not been working in the lab for a while, unfortunately. The last I've known, we've had mainly beginner friendly corals, a lot of your soft corals, Kenya trees, mushrooms. We can't have zoanthids or paleothoas because of the palitoxin. We need to create a separate safety protocol for that has to be approved by the university um, and the lab coordinators. So we just decided not to keep any zoas or pallies. And then we had euphyllias, which are no longer called euphyllias. Their scientific name has changed, or their group has changed. But your frog spawns, hammer corals, things like that. And then we started getting into LPS and SPS corals. So we started getting into acroporas, birds' nests, things like that. And I don't know how it's been. Candy cane coral. I remember getting a free frag of that at the Reefing USA show that was going on in New Jersey, and I got in touch with the person who was in charge of the lab after me, and she said, "Yeah, bring it over. We'll put it in." And so I brought it over and I put it in. But yeah, those are some of the corals that we've been kept in. After that, I don't know what they've been doing. Um, Vinoski says, "Thanks and sorry for the extension question." No, all good. I appreciate the question. Ian says, "Smash burgers every time, so good." Yep, yep. I'm so craving them nowadays that I'm literally gonna have my mom when she goes grocery shopping, or ask her if we have any like ground beef at home, and I'm just gonna make smash burgers at home because I've been craving. I've been watching like a lot of YouTube videos. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Burger Scholar, George Motes. That guy, every time I'm eating, I watch his videos and I just start craving burgers. And Nathan says, "Oh no, these are made right here at home on the grill." Oh, it's all good. Okay, homemade burgers, perfect. Um, okay. All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys staying for as long as you did. I hope the live stream was somewhat informative, and I appreciate some of the feedback you guys gave for this tank issue that I have. If you guys came in a little later and have no idea what I'm talking about, just watch the replay. You'll get an idea of what I am talking about. Like I said, I will be ordering more plants in soon. So if there are plants on the website, specifically Tropica, that you guys are interested in, just hit the notify when back in stock request. That lets me know you want it in. I will get it in. If you're looking for more than one or more than three quantity for the tissue culture, or more than five quantity for the potted plants, just reach out to me. Let me know how many of a species you want, and I'll make sure I have enough in stock for you. Um, was there anything else? Like I said, food's on sale. So if you guys need food for your fish, or turtles or frogs or axolotls or whatever, there's stuff on the website. Feel free to get it if you'd like. Otherwise, once it goes expired, it's trash. And then with that being said, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Like I said, it gives me a confidence boost. But if you don't like it, that's fine. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss a notification. Um, if you haven't subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. If you've been lurking the entire time, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you're watching the replay, I apologize for if you missed it, but hopefully you'll enjoy the replay. And with that being said, guys, take care, stay safe out there, take care of your fish. You know, we love our fish, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.